Hello and welcome to Grohanis Yawns, where I play 15-minute first looks at games I know very little about, if not nothing about. So today is the Musume demos. This is the pre-release demo, as you can see around there. But the game is actually out. The game came out about a month ago. So I'm posting this early August. The game came out like June 20th or something like that. I'm also going to boost its volume a little. There actually is a little sound happening. And I can tell you can barely hear it. But we'll get started and see if the sound works itself out. Or I might boost it. Anyway, so I'm using a mouse. This is mushroom themed and it's narrative forward. That's about all I know. So let's get into it. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. Though they had no need for society, they did not often find themselves home to a loneliness that they could never find. They did often find themselves home to a loneliness that they could never quite shake. In the morning, the sun would rise. At night, it would set. The recluse would observe this splendor, knowing that the sight would be made all the more beautiful by having someone to share it with. It wasn't that they desired a relationship. Perhaps it was a flame that had burned them one too many times, or perhaps they were simply disinterested. No, a child. That's what they wanted. Someone to take care of, not to teach. Unfortunately, it was a longing that could not be found, not in these woods alone. Bump the volume a bit. However, we are never quite alone as we think, are we? One day a witch appeared, as if drawn by the intensity of the recluse's desire. The lumber that the recluse had spent the morning gathering slipped through their hands as they spotted her, the witch of the woods. She began to speak. You desire a child, yes? For some, those are quite easy to come by, but not you, it would seem. Let us make a deal, then. If you do 3 simple chores for me, I will present you with a daughter of your very own. The recluse, caught up in a moment of naivete, quickly agreed. The witch, knowing that the recluse was destined to accept, simply nodded and began to deliver the first of these so-called chores without hesitation. It is important for a young person to be well grounded in this world, I hear. Bring me a jar of soil to help with this process. Keep in mind that not all dirt is the same, though. Consider the source carefully. Soil. That did sound somewhat magical, the recluse supposed. Left with this vague prompt, they considered their options. Ooh. Witch's own front yard, a barren spot of forest long since struck by some invisible ailment. The most picturesque section of forest you have ever set eyes upon. Yeah, that one. There was a place they had passed through on occasion, decorated with green leaves and fragrant blossoming flowers. A place of beauty that left one in such awe was the only choice. Only the best for their daughter. Arriving back at their meeting place, the recluse was excited to share their selection with the witch. So that's what you picked, eh? Very well, it shall do. Feeling the need to scrub their skin, the recluse retired to their hut to cleanse themselves. Like the daughter checklist. Task 1 checked off. The second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. I am going to... I turn up the sound in here. Self-voicing?
Self-voicing enabled. Self-voicing disabled.
Yeah, no, thank you. just like obsessed with this music, and it's so quiet. So I have bumped it up. I have bumped it up in OBS and I've bumped it up in the game, so hopefully you can hear it now. Alright. On to task number 2. They elected not to think about that though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do, which is to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more and I can finally give you what you want. She paused only a moment before delivering her next message of import. There have been some activities I've been meaning to get to. Perhaps you can make yourself useful and cross one off the list for me. Not realizing that they were simply saving the witch some time, the recluse determined which task they were most suited for. Test a selection of elixirs for quality. Prepare the witch a comforting meal. Restock a selection of unsettling components. Let's make a nice meal. Cooking was a simple affair, much kinder seeming than the rest. It was an easy decision for the recluse. What do witches like to eat? The recluse pondered this question, figuring that one could not go wrong with a simple meal of eggs and bacon. Perfect. Arriving back at their meeting point, the recluse was excited to report their progress to the witch. Ah, very good. How kind of you. After quickly wiping themselves down, the recluse returned to their hut for the remainder of the night. The 3rd day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, then that meant that this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least. That was all they could do. Barely remembered to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful. Something bright that you think will suit her. When they were first told of the 3 tasks, the recluse had imagined things that were much more difficult. This seemed so easy as to be a trick, which they supposed only meant they should take it seriously, as if a mistake could mean death. With death in mind, the recluse needed to decide where to search for color. Right, a field of flowers, stony river. With flowers. If someone wanted color, where else was there to even consider? The recluse decided to make their way to a particularly idyllic field of flowers. The field was filled with an overwhelming amount of choice. Before long, the recluse narrowed the options down to a few. Bleeding heart, sanguine, and symbolic drops. Cardinal flowers, a prideful red bloom. Black pansies, a Stygian omen. What's that? A pumpkin? Milkweed, the bright orange herald of the butterflies. You know, I have been admiring the milkweed in the area I live in lately, so I'm gonna go with this. I'm also gonna turn down the music. The scotiest of scotias. Alright. A mystical field of flickering life gently yawned into the edges of the setting sun. The recluse nearly forgot what they went there for, drinking in the fresh honey breeze. This was the place. Ooh! Everything's orange now. The recluse returned to the witch's hut, colored item in hand. They silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. Oh, ho, ho, you want your promised daughter, don't you? Her voice was almost mocking, but at least it was not overtly cruel. I suppose I must tell you that I lied, human. I do require several more trifling things from you. First is the matter of payment. The recluse should have known that everything is for a cost. Ooh, pay now with wealth. with life. Maybe sometime soon in larger quantities. Maybe at a much later date in the way I choose. Ooh. I can't get more life, but I can always get more money. I know that's a yikes, but I think my logic is sound. I offered the coin purse to the witch, and she took it wordlessly. After pocketing the whole pouch, she returned a single coin to the recluse's hand. Woof. This would be sufficient. The witch smiles. With the payment settled, the witch simply smiled and handed the recluse a small pot. Humans are tricky, but mushrooms are much more resilient. Consider this an upgrade. Don't worry, eventually she will develop a mind. Simply give her time, as much as she needs. Soon your wish will be in full bloom. I suppose with all that settled, though, there is one last thing for you to consider. A young girl needs a proper name. The recluse thought on the witch's demand before offering the final thing they had to give. What's her name? Well, I just made her the color of milkweed. Name her Chanterelle. It's like a mushroom game, right? So, I'm gonna name her Chanterelle. Then she walked away, only fate knowing if the two would ever meet again. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Care for the pot and the dirt and everything that lay within. So the recluse geared up, as any parent should, and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances, in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide. Nutrients for the child to help it grow strong. They would need plenty, as it would be depleted on a daily basis. And finally, the recluse's own stamina could not be ignored. One cannot burn the candle from both ends indefinitely. Thus began the longest growing season of the recluse's life. Oh, my finances! Okay. Harsh weather has taken a toll on your garden. Your entire harvest has been lost! Ah! Weeks worth of food and labor has been rotted and destroyed. Without immediate action, you and your daughter would be in trouble later down the line. Ah! No. Now we gotta do things. Oh, jeez. Gonna hurt my stamina, but yeah, no use crying over ruined crops. You simply make adjustments to your garden. Ooh, my stamina. There will be less variety this season, but you'll live to see it. That's what matters. The decision being made, life continued. A flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they've become quite the nuisance. Oh, jeez. Gonna hunt them? You retrieve your bow and are lucky to leave with not one, but two birds from the flock. Yeah, stamina down. Hunting takes effort. They shouldn't show up again for a while. You and your daughter may rest. Also, I just realized that's the daughter. Nothing more can be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. Oh! The mushroom is evolving! Oh! Your daughter has changed in the night! One morning you awaken with a weight on your chest and open your eyes to find a heavy mushroom sitting atop you. Okay, click on info. Ah! No. Environment acceptable. Underdeveloped and childish. Okay. The creature has grown little arms and legs and demonstrates her newfound mobility by clambering off the bed as you wake. Her demeanor seems cheerful, wandering about in an excitable and inquisitive mood. Sometime nurturing her. Oh, my stamina. Encourage her optimism. That seems nice. Your daughter's development is going better than expected, and you want to promote her cheerful nature. Yeah! You encourage her to appreciate beautiful things, bringing her to that flower-filled glade you once visited. Enthralled by the wondrous sights, appreciating nature quickly becomes her favorite pastime, as she spends much of her time wandering outside. The decision being made, life continued. Oh no! So now she's comfortable being outside. Oh no! One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door, quite a rare occurrence. Peering through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Woods standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Would she be here for a visit, or to settle a debt? I do need finances. I mean, this is the normal / polite thing to do. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. You could maybe even learn a thing or two. The two of you answer the door and invite the gloomy woman inside for dry and awkward small talk. You wonder about something about the way the two absently stare at each other. You wonder if they've made some sort of connection today. The decision being made, life continued. Oh no, I should have asked for money. Today you've made the time to enrich your daughter. Now that she's capable of movement, you figure you'd take advantage of the pleasant weather and go for a walk. Do the info again. Okay. Excellent in quality. Okay. Oh, she has a mystic bond. I just noticed that over there. Okay. Okay. We're going for a walk. But the area you live in is large. Where would you like to go? Tree tapping. I need some stuff. Whilst you wouldn't mind putting some time aside for your daughter, I don't see anything wrong with killing two birds with one stone either. Today you will show her one of the many ways that nature provides to those who pay close attention. In this case, she will be learning about the gooey liquids that trees produce. You walk her from tree to tree, carrying a bucket in your other hand. Today you are seeking the sweet, thin secretion of a particular type of tree. The secretion can be boiled down into treats, something you're sure your daughter will appreciate in time. Though she shows little interest in the trees or the procedure, you're still glad for the company. Someday, you're sure she will develop a knack for patience. Oh... so that was... Her quality of life having been improved, life continued. She's changing again. Gain trait child? Oh! Does look like child now. We're at 18 minutes, so I should wrap it soon. One morning you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After an hour of searching the nearby area, you find her walking in a nearby meadow. To your surprise, the creature had now taken the form of a young girl. You feel relieved to confirm that the witch hadn't betrayed you. At your approach, she turns and grins at you excitedly before continuing to appreciate her surroundings. I'll sit and watch her play. We have no finances, so your daughter seems content to do her own thing. You decide you let her play in the meadow as long as she likes. Taking a seat near her, you appreciate the beauty of the forest and spend time thinking lovingly of your daughter. After some time, she tires of running about and bringing you pretty things. You pick the exhausted girl up and the two of you return home. The decision being made, life continued. Ah, that's so ominous every time it says it. You awaken only to discover that your daughter is covered in tiny parasitic creatures. No! For the sake of her health, you should probably find a way to get rid of the little pests. Oh no! It's all organic. Ah! My finances! I guess I'll rinse her. Your daughter seems to enjoy the experience. The creatures are dealt with. The decision being made, life continued. Is she okay? Okay, the affection is good. I just need some money. The weather is nice and you're feeling up to doing some foraging today. It may be easier if you focus on something specific before you head out. Oh my goodness. My stamina is low. I'm gonna take a gamble and send her. She's a smart girl. I raised her right, and my stamina's low. She's a big girl. She'll be fine. She's ventured further in the forest than she normally does. At first she seems a little scared, but eventually her desire to please you beats out the fear. Yeah, she loves me, and has a good environment. It'll be fine. She comes home tired and haggard, but she did manage to find some friends, plus she's strong for facing her fears too. Yay! The decision being made, life continues. And it had been many strange weeks since the witch had gifted you an enchanted pot of dirt. It felt much longer. You had perhaps underestimated the amount of effort it would take to rear a child. The long days and nights toiling for her every need, left you drained. So I couldn't parse that sentence. And that constant aching tiredness made it difficult to be present for the girl. You suspected you weren't the role model a grown child needed. You sat down your mug of ale, readying yourself for another night of restless sleep. Maybe in the morning things would be easier. Ooh, discover delicate hue. Oh, and the game is like evolving too. You had suspected for a long time that your time with the recluse was coming for an end. Oh, I'm the mushroom now? They raised you, you suppose, but it often felt like you were trapped, like you were kept locked away, unwanted and forgotten. Ooh. But you're older now. You have the ability to fend for yourself. There's no reason to stay where you aren't wanted. Your preparations have been underway for a while, and you've made a little place for yourself to live in the woods. Tomorrow's the day to act on your plan. While the path ahead of you seems a little frightening, things can only get better from here. Maybe in the morning you'll finally be able to see for yourself. Main trait disappeared. Ah! Oh my god! Ooh, elegant verdigris agaric. Nice. Oh my gosh. This is so cool! Okay. Save. Save complete. Oh. Proper save. Slot. Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna end the video here. This is really cool. I love how, yeah, the game is evolving as I go. Right, it started monochrome, we added orange, and now we're like these two colors. I love that indie games are playing with color in this way. It's very cool to me. I think it's really inspired. I think it's very cool. This is really fantastic. I'm obsessed with this, like, glitchy music in the background. I'm truly obsessed with it. And man, this could have so much replay value, or even like you could do parallel plays and just make a couple of different decisions and see how they pan out. Oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah, I'm really into this. And yeah, this came out at the end of June 2025. I've just been sitting on the demo for a bit. So yeah, that is Musume? Musume. I don't know how to pronounce it. I should probably learn. That's a cool one to me. Certainly, like, not for everyone. You have to be into visual novels. I'm into visual novels. I like, choose your path in that way. Yeah, this is so cool. I like it a lot. Alright, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.